Welcome back to the Manc Entrepreneur YouTube channel and to another Mondays Don't Suck episode. Today's the 17th of July, and yeah, we're back in the normal office and for another week of just trying to get things done. So as always, we're going to kick things off with a bit of a recap of last week, what we've got coming up this week before getting stuck into the main subject of the day. So with that said, last week, let me get the old calendar up as a refresh. Last week was a funny one because obviously we had Prime Day last week, and along with the business that myself and Matt run, we were running some promotions on Prime Day, not on Amazon. We were just piggybacking the whole discount season thing, and that is almost what is going to be the main subject of today. So we'll come on to that in a minute. But yeah, we did our own version of Prime Day with relative success. And yeah, the rest of the week I was here. Yeah, it was myself and Matt have been really planning the next part of the next tutorial or set of courses that we are working on to do with email marketing. And I also got hands-on with Shopify last week for the first time that I actually got properly hands-on with it, as in setting something up from scratch. I'd played with Shopify before, but never set up a new account. I was impressed. And then the news came out last week that eBay were working on an integration with Shopify. Big news. Again, which I covered on Friday on the channel. So if you haven't seen that, go and check that out. I'll put a link up here in the recorded version. And yeah, it was just a day of being at the desk, a week of being at the desk and trying to make things happen. And yeah, it was a good week, good solid week. Got lots done. Me and Matt spent hours working together on, like I said, planning the next tutorials, researching some sort of email software and Shopify, getting a little bit more deeper into that. It was pretty interesting. So that brings us on to this week. Now, this week is a little bit more exhausting. I was supposed to be in Wolverhampton Thursday, but that got postponed, so didn't end up going. But this week, obviously later on this afternoon, did the eSeller Cafe news roundup. So that is at 4. So we've got that to plan for. Richard is once again traveling, so hopefully he'll be able to join us live. Tomorrow, standard day, we have the webinar in the afternoon for the mastermind. And then Wednesday, Theo is coming up to Manchester, and I really want to, it's in the calendar. I'm sitting down with Theo, having a catch up with him, find out what he's been up to, as well as just having a bit of a talk business wise, because there's a few things which he's noticed recently, which he's got some ideas around, and there's a few things which I've been sort of toying with the idea of doing as well, along the sides of like a business podcast style. Again, ever since the video with Miles that I did whilst I was in Luxembourg, I felt there was so much value in that, in just having a conversation with someone else who works online. And I think there's maybe something in that very nature of just, not without an agenda, not without trying to sell software, not without trying to sell courses or get subscribers to a website, literally just to have a conversation which people can listen into and hopefully gain some value from. I think there's value to be had there. It's just trying to find the right people to do that with, and the right format and everything else. So that's an idea which I've got floating around at the minute, and hopefully I'll be chatting with Theo about that on Wednesday. Because Theo will be perfect for it, I'm sure. But I know he's got so much on. And then it's the logistics. He's now in Wolverhampton. I'm up here. How would we make it work? But yeah, so that's a bit of a by-the-by. Thursday, John and Matthew are coming up to Manchester. We're having a bit of a day's worth of meetings and chats and things up here in Manchester. So that will be pretty much a day out of the office. And that leaves them Friday for normal work stuff, I guess. So yeah, this week I'm sure is going to fly by. I can't believe we're halfway through the year. 17th of July. It's crazy. So that's pretty much that. Last week, this week covered. Let's go on to the main subject of today, which is making mistakes and being proud of them. And this is again, something which isn't talked about very often. If anyone's watching this live right now and if you've got a mistake that you want to share, let me know in the chat box, because like I said, I'm going to share with you some that spring to my mind. I'll start with perhaps the most obvious one. This you might not be able to, it doesn't look too bad on camera. It looks more like spots, and it isn't spots. It's actually like a blistered bruise, and that's because sometimes for fun and for relaxation, I dive. I high dive. So I platform dive and springboard dive. And last night I was trying to perfect my 1.5 somersault from a 1 meter springboard. I know, if anyone's ever met me in real life, the image of someone like my size trying to do such acrobatic things is quite hilarious, I'm sure. But yeah, this was the result of doing a 1.25 somersault and landing slap right on the face. And yeah, that was fun. And then there was that point where you do that and it really hurt. Like this side of my face, like my eye, it started going starry. I was like, Christ, I probably knocked myself out here. And you can always tell, like, the other divers at the poolside, if you mess up and it's quite funny, they clap and give you the sarcastic clap. If you mess up and it looks painful, they go, ooh. And I came out the water and I was like, ooh. So yeah, that was fun, and it hurt like hell. It stung like a bitch. But the thing is, then I got out of the pool and I sat there and I knew I had to try it again. And that is the hardest part, is that you've just messed that up massively and you have to try it again. Otherwise, you'll never do it. It's like falling off the horse. You have to get back on it. It's exactly the same principle. If I let that beat me mentally, I'd just never get around to doing it. And I really want to do that dive because it looks really cool. And anyway, after about a 2-3 minute break, I went on and did it much better. I got round to the 1.5. And that's a bit of a fun one, like I said, and it explains this wonderful pattern that I've developed on my face. But going into work mode is that last week on Tuesday, like I said, we were running our Prime Day promotion, and literally, like I said, everything that I tried to do last week just went wrong at some point. I sent an email out and the page that I'd linked people to wasn't public. So people had this email and couldn't access the page to the link, which would then result in them paying us. Also, them getting value from the content that we're pretty much giving away. That was a mistake. And then I was running some Facebook ads, and whether this was an error on my part or Facebook's part, whether it didn't save properly, whether I'd not filled something out properly, I don't know, but they weren't running properly. And when you've set your timescale of a day, this makes a difference, and I was beating myself up so bad last Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. And I was not in a good mood. And then I remember sitting down with Matt, and Matt sort of said to me, Dave, at the end of the day, it's good that we're making mistakes. Because if we're making mistakes, it means that we're trying. It means that we're pushing ourselves to do things which, we don't normally do. And I'm just going to pause Dropbox because I see this is syncing and it's probably affecting bandwidth. So sorry if it's gone a little bit gobbledygooky there. But yeah, so like I said, Matt sat me down and basically said it's good that we're making mistakes, because if we're making mistakes, it means we're trying and we're pushing into new things that we may not have done properly before. We're trying to grow. And he was absolutely right. It's too easy to get comfortable and, do the things that you do. Because if you keep doing the things that you can do, you're never going to make mistakes, but you're never also going to see rewards. Doing the same thing over and over again is going to give you the same results. So by trying new things, it's okay to mess them up. It's okay to make mistakes, because as long as you learn from it, you'll never make those mistakes again. And I think that was the biggest takeaway for me last week and last night, is that, yes, things don't always go to plan. You don't always achieve what it is you set out to achieve. You don't always nail it first time. But as long as you get up and try again and acknowledge the fact that the reason why you failed is because you were trying really hard to do something, then you can't be annoyed at yourself, because surely that's what we're all trying to do. We're all trying to be better, and you don't get better by being the same. I think that was my biggest takeaway from last week, and that's something which I wanted to share with you in this Monday's Don't Suck episode, is that, again, everyone attributes Monday to being a bad day. But if you fail at something today, just realize that you're trying really hard. And as long as you keep trying, you can't really go wrong. Yes, you might fail in the short term, but in the long term, you'll learn and you'll grow and you'll become better. And that's how we win. You know, we can't win all the time. We have to take the L every now and again. But as long as you take the L and acknowledge you've taken the L, it's still a W. That's what I wanted to share with you today. That's my thoughts on that. If anybody has any questions about anything I've said, let me know in the comment section down below. Share with me some of the things that you failed at and that at the time you thought was like terrible, but now you might look back and think, actually, that was a good thing. It taught me how to do something new. It taught me how to, you know, reach a new type of audience, taught me a new skill which I didn't have before. And if you have any questions about diving, then, you know, maybe ask someone who doesn't end up looking like this. With that said, I hope you've enjoyed this Monday's Don't Suck episode. If you have, hit that like button. I really appreciate it. And subscribe if you are new. There's not only new episodes of this every Monday, but there's new videos every single weekday where we talk about all things entrepreneurship and e-commerce and breaking news stuff, whatever's going on. So subscribe if you are new, if you're not already. To everyone who is subscribed, I really appreciate it. And as always, go and smash Monday, and I'll catch you in tomorrow's video. See you then.